Time for rock news on 101.1 WJRR, Orlando's rock station. Let's check in with Lynch and Taco and see which rockers are making the headlines for all the right and wrong reasons. 101.1 WJRR.
Well, seeing as you just heard from Creed, we might as well start off with a Creed item. Scott Stapp and his wife getting divorced.
Oh, I thought they already were.
She filed for, I think she's filed before and then backed off, but looks like they're calling it quits this go around.
Wow.
A couple people asking what the Rock the Bank keyword was this hour, Taco Bob.
Oh, it's cash. CASH, as in like cash. Scott Stapp's probably going to lose some in that divorce.
Yeah, just as Creed's hitting their stride again.
I know. But he's on the cruise. I mean, he's doing these shows. Maybe some new lady.
Stop.
Anyway, enter cash at WJRR.com. You might win $1,000.
All right. Those of you, ourselves included, who were in attendance Saturday nights as the Foo Fighters headlined Saturday's lineup at Welcome to Rockville, got to witness one of the rock news items this week. We alluded to this yesterday.
And you got to witness Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters just completely slay it.
Yeah, it was a great set.
Wow.
At the portion where he's introducing his bandmates, each of them went in and did a little, spotlight on them deal. And at the end, Dave goes, I introduce everyone and I never get to do a solo. I'd like to do a solo. And he turns his back to the crowd and he starts into the iconic Eruption guitar solo from Eddie Van Halen.
People are cheering him along.
And people are like, holy crap. And all of a sudden, the big screen up top flashes to Wolfgang Van Halen, who's standing on the side of the stage actually playing his dad's solo and just killing it. And then Wolfie went into a little hot for teacher, and the joke's on all of you, and no, Dave doesn't get to do a solo again. That's pretty funny. Then Dave turned around and dedicated My Hero to both Eddie Van Halen and his son Wolfgang as they played that.
That's cool.
So that was awesome.
He did a lot of really cool things, like dedicating a song to their producer.
Well, he dedicated My Hero to Steve Albini earlier in the week at a show in Charlotte. Steve, who had passed away last week. A couple other dedications during the Foo set. Aurora for Taylor Hawkins. And then as they wrapped up with Everlong, he threw that out to all the awesome bands at Welcome to Rockville, as well as the incredible fans. So that was cool. They were amazing.
Even like when there was an issue in the crowd. Do you remember that part? Mm-hmm. Issue in the crowd, and he starts playing. What was he playing? Was it Stairway to Heaven?
He goes, all right, when things like this happen, I wait for the help to get there to sort out whatever the problem is, and until it gets sorted out, I'm going to play Stairway to Heaven.
But he keeps playing, and he goes, I've never gotten this far in this song. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I've never had to go this far before the problem. Is the problem solved yet?
Come on.
Then, into the next song, they were like, good stuff. Cool. Good stuff. Bruce Springsteen marking the 40th anniversary of 1984's Born in the USA. Special edition red vinyl release coming out June 14th. Expanded packaging, the whole 9 yards. If you're a collector, that might appeal to you. It was Born in the USA that in 1984 literally shot Springsteen from an arena act to packing stadiums. That album, 7 top 10 singles and has sold to date 25 million copies.
God,
pretty impressive. Told you the other week that there was some top secret thing that Robert Plant was working on, supposedly reworking some Zeppelin classics. Well, we now know what that was all about. He went into the Magic Garden recording studio in Wolverhampton, England, where he produced a mashup of Zeppelin's Kashmir and Whole Lotta Love that will serve as being played before Wolverhampton Wanderers football club games at Molyneux Stadium in Wolverhampton. So I guess he cut some sort of deal with the soccer club there to have that as like one of their anthems or something.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like you're a soccer fan, you go to the game or the football match, I say.
Yeah. In other Zeppelin-related news, Jimmy Page is teasing the possibility of a re-release of the album he did with David Coverdale. in 1993, the Coverdale Page. They talked about this a while back. Actually, David Coverdale alluded to it. There's apparently some really, really good outtakes that could have been easily on the album, or they've basically said almost enough to create an entirely new album. So that may be in the works coming up here soon. Those of you who enjoyed that project. Some Metallica news. James Hetfield will be a guest on Apocalyptica's cover of One. Apocalyptica will release that single this Friday. The track also features an appearance by Robert Trujillo. We told you about that a little while back, and this is coming from Apocalyptica Plays Metallica Volume 2, which will be out in June. So both James and Robert's on the Apocalyptica version of One. You'll be able to hear that on Friday.
Okay.
Yep. Metallica has announced that their All Within My Hands Foundation is granted $100,000 in direct relief to provide critical services in Brazil for areas that have been devastated by the flooding caused by torrential rains recently. That's been in the news. We've been talking about that. So $100,000 from Metallica to help out down there. Nikki Sixx has posted that one of his stalkers has been rearrested for violating a restraining order. The Motley Crue bassist said Stalker 1 from Tennessee has been arrested again for breaking the restraining order and is also charged with resisting arrest. Been a hard month. Happy to be home with my family. Thank you to my legal team and the court system.
So Stalker woman, I'm guessing it's not just some psycho fan dude who's like, Nikki.
Stalker 1 tells me he's got more than a few that are bugging him.
Yeah.
Weezer working on a special re-release of the Blue album as the band celebrated the 30th anniversary of their debut over the weekend. They also said they're working on a special release and promise to share more details on that soon. Weezer will perform that album in full on their upcoming Voyage to a Blue Planet tour, which comes through Orlando later this year.
Kia Center, yeah.
Pink Floyd's David Gilmour has announced his first U.S. shows in 8 years. Told you last week that he has a new solo album, Luck and Strange, due in September. At that point, he had only announced a run of shows at the Albert Hall in London. Now he will have a couple shows taking place in Los Angeles and New York only. So if you're hell-bent on seeing Gilmour, you're going to need to be in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Bowl October 29th or 30th. Or if Madison Square Garden is more convenient, you can catch him performing November 4th and 5th.
Got it.
And one last note here. It was interesting. Kerry King of Slayer has his own project now called Kerry King. A lot of you saw them perform. Their second live performance was at Rockville, and obviously in front of the biggest audience they've had yet. As this new project rolls out and King's new album is coming out, From Hell I Rise, which, if you've watched any of the video footage on YouTube from their performance at Rockville, it is like, if you're craving the whole Left by Slayer retiring, there you go. And they are a lot of similarities there.
Fill in the slot, kind of.
So what about Slayer getting back to do some of these festival shows later this summer and in the fall? How does Kerry feel about that? Is it stealing some of the thunder from his solo project? He was flat out asked that. And he's like, really, he goes, I didn't tell any of the other guys in the band this was happening, except for Paul, who is also part of Slayer, who knew and was privy to these festival dates that are going to be done. He goes, the rest of the guys in the band, I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want them to get the wrong idea that, we were abandoning this project. He goes, no, this is full steam ahead. We've already got material for a second album in mind, and this is my focus right now. And he's like, the Slayer reunion, he basically is like, it's been almost 5 years. These dates kind of line up. It works. And hey, there you go.
Maybe he could do what others have, like I believe, wasn't it Maynard and Tool, who had Tool and whatchamacallit playing same time at her same festival.
I don't know. He got into talking about his relationship or lack thereof with Tom Araya, frontman. Those two, he goes, we are completely different people. I haven't really spoken to him since we disbanded, and it's not. He goes, it's not that I don't like him. He goes, we're just two different people. He has his life, I have mine. Slayer is a business relationship.
Yeah.
So
and keep it like that.
Yeah.
Different tour buses. Do what you got to do.
No, again, they're not. There's no animosity. They're just
different dudes.
Yeah, birds of a different feather. So I suspect both will coexist if it comes to that. So anyway, that's your rock news for this morning.
Just like the bumper sticker, right?
On the hippie cars, yes, exactly.
WJRR.